Hey, my friend, what's cracking? How are you doing today? Hope this video finds you doing well. Hope that you, my friend, have everything going your way. Hope that you are sitting pretty. I'd like to thank you for clicking on the video. If you've never watched one before, my name is Ricky Dye, and I went to prison when I was 15 years old in the state of Oklahoma for murder. And I was in prison for 20 and a half years before I got out. Can't do anything to change what I did that sent me to prison. We don't get a chance to do do-overs. It just isn't how it works. But what I can do is share the experience in hopes it'll stop someone else from doing the same thing I did. Maybe if they hear about some of the consequences, maybe they would rather not go out and break that law. My videos are also to help people that have family who are in prison. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask, or if you yourself may be headed there and you have some questions, feel free to hit me up through the link in the Facebook link down below in the description. You can send me a message through there. You'll enjoy the videos best if you'll start at the beginning because I tell them pretty much in chronological order. But I do jump around and tell stories and talk about other things from time to time, and that's what I'm going to do today. So, one thing I have heard it a lot of times since I've been making these videos. People say, "Man, hear all this stuff you went through, but is it possible for me to go to prison and stay out of trouble? And how could I do that?" And so, like, what would I tell 15-year-old Ricky? You know, um, there's one thing in these videos that you just cannot get across is the feelings that you had at the time that you went through the experience. What it was actually like to go through that. Like when I was 15 years old, I grew up in a little country town, man, and I was real close with my mom and my family, and I'd never been away from home except for spending the night with a friend here or there. But longest I'd ever been away from home was to church camp with my uncle and aunt, man. I wasn't used to being away from home, and there was one black kid in my school, and my basketball coach was black. But that's the only black people I'd ever even seen, and I'd never seen anyone who was openly gay. Never seen anything like that. And when they took me that first night and they put me in the Berry House, man, I can't tell you what a culture shock it was for me when they take you and you put you in this little cell and you look around and everything's concrete except for a little square window this big, and I'm looking out this square window. All the staff are black. All the other kids looking back at me are black. They're older than me. There was no other white kids. I was the only white kid in my whole day room. My fall partner was the only white kid in his. So there was a culture shock there, and I had never been away from home, and I'm being charged with murder and armed robbery, and I was so terrified. I was so afraid. And on the outside, you're trying to act like you're not. But hell, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was just 15, when all that shit happened, I wasn't even shit. I was afraid, and I wasn't hiding it at all. So yeah, I was terrified. I wasn't crying or anything. I was trying to be brave for my mother. Because my mom had started crying and had a nervous breakdown, and I was so afraid. I know when I go out here and visit my mom and I got a black eye, already what her night's going to be like when she goes home and she's laying there trying to sleep at night thinking about me in prison with that black eye she's seen me with. And so I know if I come out there and I let her know that I'm afraid, that this is terrifying me, if I make her think I can't take it, then she's not going to be able to take it for sure. So I got to be brave. I've got to come out here with a black eye laughing about it, telling her how I got the best end of it, whether I did or whether I didn't. And I got to tell you that throughout the first part of it, I got the worst end of it a lot. Um, Even when I would get them choked out, or they would get too tired and say they had enough or whatever, still I was always the one that looked the worst in the beginning, for sure. But is it possible that you could go through there and do that? Let me tell you that if you're a black guy, you have a good chance of doing that. If you're a black guy and you're not in a gang, or even if you're in a gang but you're not really trying to rock your colors, if you just mind your own business, black people stick together in a way that whites and the other races don't. Like the Indian, pretty much if you're a stand-up dude and you're an Indian, a Native American, if you're stand-up Native American, you're going to end up in the Indian Brotherhood. That's all there is to it. And if you're not a good Native American, if you're a piece of shit, then they're going to take care of you. So that's about how that thing's run with that race, with the Indians. You're either in with them or you're screwed, man. If you're not a good Indian, you're not going to be an Indian at all as far as they're concerned. And except for the elders, they get passed to the old guys, unless as long as they didn't do nothing really messed up. And the Mexicans, that race is split because of the gangs, because you've got different Mexican sets, different gangs from different neighborhoods of Mexicans, and you got the Southside Locos and you got the Sureños, and they don't always get along, you know. So you've got some politicking going on in that race, and in the white race you got the UAB, and then you got everybody else, pretty much. That's how that goes. So if you're a white guy, chances are you're going to get in some fights for sure. And is that the worst part of it? I don't know if that's the worst part of it. What about the part where, let's just say, here, what happens to you? So first, you break some kind of law. If it's not a real bad law, if it's not violent, maybe you're going to get to go to court on it and stuff, and you're not in the county jail waiting to go to the prison. You've bonded out some kind of way, and you're out running around the street, and you still got a job, and you think you're fixing to get 5 or 10 years. Well, if that's the case, you're only going to go to a minimum security. But let me tell you that the minimum security is one write-up from medium security. So what that means, you're going to go to minimum security. If you go to minimum security, there ain't even no fence around most of them. You can just walk off. But if you do, you're asked to do the next 10 years in a medium security. So you want to think about that before you do that. So if you go to a minimum security, things aren't going to be that tough for you. There'll be some peer pressure, but there won't be people coming and taking your shit, just running in your cell and thumping you up. If you're a young white guy, you could get all kinds of games run on you. One like I talked about in some of my earlier videos. Say, if I'm the kind of guy that wants to make you into my boy, I'm going to have a couple of my partners, when they call chow time, run in there and whip your ass real good and take all your canteen. Take your shoes, whatever you got. Then I'll run over there and I'll offer to go get it all back. And I will. I'll go get all your shit back and bring it back to you and tell you I'll protect you. And then you'll do what I want you to do sexually. And if you don't, then I'll sick them boys back on you. And a lot of times that's all it takes for guys to do it. But sometimes it doesn't take that. You don't even have to fight everybody to get them to do that. A lot of times I've seen guys do this. I've seen old buzzards. They'll have a boy. They'll have a guy, they're in a relationship, they're homosexual, and puts on makeup and everything. But then this young guy comes in on the yard and they think he's good looking. And so they'll try to sick his homosexual on him. He'll send him over there and try to see if he'll let him give him head, to see if he's gay at all. Because if he'll let him give him a blowjob, then he knows he's a little gay at least, right? So there's a chance he could get him to do more. And I've heard them homosexuals say stuff like, if I can stick my finger in his butt, I know he'll let me do more. So if you go messing with homosexuals, deciding it's okay to get you a blowjob, and he starts trying to stick his finger in your butt, you know something's foul. So there's a little realness for you. And that's the kind of things you hear in prison. That's what you hear in the penitentiary. It's not very nice, is it? But that's nothing compared to what it feels like. Okay, so you've broke the law. You're going to prison. Now you get to minimum. You're one shot from being in a medium security. In a medium security, you could get into a fight over anything. You can get over a fight like I did in a few videos back because someone thinks you look good from behind. You can get in a fight. I had my little partner Shane got in a fight over his shoes. So we were living in an open day room. And he had a new pair of Nikes. And this black dude just walked in his cell while he's laying there asleep at night, because it was in cubicles in an open day room at Crabtree. And he walks in his cell while he's asleep, gets his shoes. The next day, he ain't even hiding the shit. He's wearing them around. He don't care. He ain't afraid of Shane. Thinks Shane won't do nothing. Shane's crying to me about his shoes. What's he going to do about his shoes? How can he get his shoes back? Ain't but one way to get them shoes back. Got to take them back. Don't know if he can whoop him. I taught him how to hit him with a cheap shot. So what I told him is to take your hand like this. All right. Number one thing is, if you're about to get into a fight with somebody and you're standing still talking and then you flinch at them, they're going to flinch. But if your hands are already moving, so you be talking to him, he already don't think you're going to fight. Thinks you ain't going to do shit. He thinks you're afraid. So you keep talking and let your voice tremble. Act like you are afraid and be moving your hands when you talk to him. Then you step through just like this. And when you step through, you hold your hand like this and you aim for here. And it slides up. And you can't dodge that shit. You can't dodge that shit. You step through it. Step through it like a punch. And yeah, automatic advantage, man. After that, you just start firing off on them. That's what I told him. So dude's wearing his shoes around in the day room, and Shane's walking back and forth, and he's nervous as a motherfucker because this dude's a little bigger than him, and he don't know if he can fight. And he walked up to him and starts talking to him, moving his hands, and I'm thinking, is he going to do it? And sure enough, bam, he does it. And dude, he fires off on him, and Kane gets the best of him, man. Kane ended up with his shoes back by the end of the day. He got the best of him right there. They ended up in a little wrestling match. Kane ended up getting him in a headlock, and they ended up breaking up because guards was coming, and then the blacks were going to get involved, and I was over there with him, and we were all involved, and they ended up giving his shoes back because he had enough heart to fight. So, you get in a fight because someone takes your shoes. I had a partner named Johnny Cole. Everybody calls him Frog because he is real bad, pockmarked complexion. He's never getting out of prison. He has a big old belly, and hell, he even plays into it by going ribbit, ribbit. You'll just be sitting there watching TV. You'll be sitting out there in the day room watching TV with your headphones on, look over at him, and he'll go ribbit. So everyone calls him Frog. He gets an argument with this black dude over the TV, goes to talk shit. He's in his cell talking shit. They were out in the day room with their headphones on. He takes his headphones off and he's mad, and he walks in the cell talking shit, thinking this dude Mark ain't gonna do nothing. Mark come in there and hit him 3 times fast. Bam, bam, bam. Down Johnny Cole sets. Man, when he woke up, Johnny Cole said, what happened? What the hell happened? What happened to me? Yeah, you got knocked out. Man, you said you was arguing with Mark over the TV. We fought over the TV. Did I get any licks in? No, you didn't get no licks in, Johnny. You didn't even get in one. So you can get in a fight over that, man. You can get in a fight over the microwave. You can get in a fight over the ice machine. You can get in a fight if you walk on someone's mop floor. But what about pick up the soap? What about don't drop the soap? Is that shit true? What about that don't drop the soap? Well, the truth is, usually on almost every day, on most units, most places, showers anywhere throughout the prison system. Most prisons are a single man shower. It's down at the end of the run. There's one shower here, and there's a shower next to it, and they have full length shower curtains, and you go in there, and it's private most always. There is a couple of the places like Crabtree does have an open dorm, and so there are open showers, and there's like 4 or 5 people shower there at a time. But usually people don't bother each other or stare each other down in the shower. That may happen if you're a young, pretty kid or something, but I wasn't on a yard that had a shower like that when I was really young, except for when I got in a fight naked in the shower in McAllister, but I've told you about that, so we won't go back through that. I know you guys want me to make longer videos, man, but the truth is, it's very difficult to sit here and talk to this phone, to just sit here and talk to this phone, because there's no one that responds to me, no one's saying anything back. And I want to be completely honest with you about something else, is I get tired of talking about prison. I hate talking about prison. I wish that I had something that I could talk about that would help people in some other way. Oh, Jesus, there's a big old hornet. So I am about to go. Oh, my gosh. That thing may put me in the hospital. My goodness, I got to let you see him. Look, I got to let you see him. Can you see this dude? Holy crap. Can you see that? Wow. All right, I'll put it back down. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that sucker was over 2. That thing's about 2 inches long, man, and I'm allergic to bees. So shit. But anyway, man, I want to give a shout out to a few people. I want to give a shout out to I Hate Stupid People, Chris, for the super thanks. Thank you, brother. That's always appreciated, but you never have to do it. Rob Johnson, thank you for your super thanks. I want to give a shout out to John Doe. Just a few days ago, John Doe shot me some money on Cash App, and it came from out of nowhere, and it was much appreciated. He said he had a good day, so we had a good day. Thank you, brother. I love you for that. If you guys haven't went over and checked out any of his channel yet, he's over there telling stories all the time. He's a fire chief in a little town down there in southeastern Oklahoma, and he's the chief there, or is it the fire chief or the fire captain? He always gets on to me for saying it the wrong way. But anyway, he's one of the head honchos, whether he wants to say so or not. And he tells little stories. He don't like talking about the bad stories. So he said, you know, man, I understand how you feel, because I don't want to talk about the worst calls I've ever seen. So I see why you don't really want to talk about that in your videos. But I think it's important to talk about it to an extent. So whenever I first got started, I had a lot of people, preachers, wanting me to go around and talk to them, talk out at the church and give my testimony. Because to be honest with you, I grew up Free Will Baptist Church, and I grew up singing in the church and singing before the church and doing specials on my own. And we used to go around from church to church singing, and I would go to church camp, and I even was teaching Sunday school over there for the kids for a little while after I got out. And so I grew up in that kind of raising. So it's automatically in me to want to help the kids in some kind of way. But I can't go to the church and give my testimony and fully give it the real way, because it's like putting handcuffs on me and putting me in a little box and making me only tell the things that are R-rated. But if I don't tell you the really bad things that happen while you're in prison, then you're not going to dread it. I know I have a lot of buddies running around, and they think it would make them something if they could go to prison for a little while. They want to be able to say that they've been in prison like Ricky. But it doesn't make you a man to be in prison, man. It makes you a stupid ass is what it makes you. You look around, and the people who are successful, and they're driving nice trucks and nice cars, and they have a nice home, and if they need something from the store, they don't have to worry about if they have enough money to go and get it. You don't have to worry about going and borrowing money from your cousin or your uncle or your aunt or your mom or your stepdad to get by until you get your money, because you have enough money. You can go down there and swipe your card and you got it because you worked your whole life. You didn't go break the law and go to prison. So if there's anything I could do to bottle those feelings up, what it was really like when they took me away from my mom, and I'd never been away from home, and threw me in a little cell, and there was nothing but black people there. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I had no idea what I was in for. Should I have not been where I was at? Did I deserve to get in trouble? You bet your ass I deserved to get in trouble. I shouldn't have been there. I knew better. Did I deserve to go to prison for 20 years? Well, I don't know, because I will tell you this is, I understand now as a grown man that there is no accessory to murder in the state of Oklahoma, and that if I go commit a crime and I'm robbing something and someone gets killed, I'm guilty of murder. I understand that. But when I was 15 years old, I did not understand that if Kenneth accidentally shot that man, I was going to prison for murder. I didn't understand that then. But I damn sure learned it. I learned it the hard way. But I hope, my friend, that you don't have to. Hope that you can learn just by me talking to you about it, telling you really how bad prison is. Hope this video finds everyone doing well. We had a little rain here, and it's beautiful today. And I hadn't made a video in a couple days, and I really didn't know what to talk about. So if you guys got some ideas for some videos, shoot them out there at me, because sometimes I just get tired of talking about my life and what happened to me, staying on the same story of me scheming, trying to get in drugs, getting in fights, getting in lockup, getting back to the next yard and starting the same thing over and over, because it has to sound like a broken record, because that's what I did over and over and over. My mom got with my stepdad 10 years before I got out and told him that I had 2 years before I would come home. And every year she'd say I still had 2 years. And 10 years went by, and he says the longest damn 2 years he's ever seen. And that's what it was like, because I just kept doing the same stupid shit time and again. But can you go to prison? What would I do if I could talk to that 15-year-old kid? That kitty's up in the tree. I would tell that kid, as soon as you get on a yard, any yard you go to, the first thing you do is you go try to get in school if you need your GED. If you don't need your GED, you should go get you a job right away in the kitchen. If you go to work in the kitchen, you'll be able to eat whatever's out on the line anytime you're in there, and you'll never be hungry. You won't need people to send you money, because you'll be able to eat while you're up there in the kitchen till you're full. It'll keep you off the yard, and it'll keep you away from people and out of trouble. You mind your own business. Come across people, you make eye contact with them so they know you're not afraid, and then you look away. You don't eye fuck nobody. You don't be locking eyes with anybody. That'll cause a fight in a heartbeat. You don't go out of your way to be too friendly. If you're too friendly, it's looked at that you're scared or you're weak. So pretty much be a loner. Mind your own business. Don't talk much. But when you do talk, be polite. But also carry yourself in a way that people will assume that you'll fight if you need to. And if you have to fight, by God, you fight for all you're worth. And if you get in a fight and you win, make sure you leave some marks on him so the next guy knows that's what's coming if he gets into it with you. And that's what I'd tell you, man. Get a job. Go to work. Do your job. Come home. Exercise. Stay around your cell. Don't run the yard. Don't make deals. Don't borrow from people. Don't loan to people. Don't give people things. Just have enough for you. Just get just enough for you to get by. Be polite. Stand your ground. Maybe, just maybe, you can get through without getting in a fight. That'll be my prayer for you if you go. I want to give a shout out to the riders and dyers, riders who ride till the wheels fall off, and the dyers keep riding even when they do. Love you guys. Thank you. If you need any construction work nationwide, man, somebody asked me, do they do it in Washington State? I believe that his company does construction work nationwide. So if whatever construction, I Googled it myself, Mid America Construction, and it has 3 or 4 different subtitles. So whatever kind of construction work you're doing, just click on there, give him a call, and he'll let you know right away, man. But for sure, if you're doing business with him, you're going to get a good deal, and you're going to for sure get the work done at a fair price. He's the best man I know, one of the best men I know, Ben Seaborn. If you need some pest control in Oklahoma, make sure you hit up DOA Pest Control. That's Dustin Lackey. He's my cousin, and I guarantee him. And old John Doe down there in southeastern Oklahoma, if you need some plumbing done, or down there around Idabel, old John Doe, that's my partner, and his link's in the description for his channel if you just want to hear him ramble on and talk some bullshit. I hope the Lord protect each and every one of you until I see you again. Till then, peace out.